All right, y'all. Welcome back to the podcast, Appalachian Trail Summer 2025. We are on day number 7, and I am happy to report we have made our way to Vermont. We are sitting right now at the Gifford Woods Campground. That is what I'm going to call it. We are going to base camp here for 3 or 4 days while I am going through the Appalachian Trail via Route 103 all the way through. I think we can stay here through my point where I get to Vermont 12, but we shall see. I am sitting in the van currently and enjoying my second cup of coffee. I am going to take today pretty easy. We are going to run some errands in town this morning in Killington. We got to pick up some mail that we had shipped to the post office, a part that we need for our generator for the van. And then we're going to see if we can find an outfitter. And then early this afternoon, once the sun comes out, I am going to do a 5.5 mile section of trail and kind of take it easy today. So I'm going to do a 5.5 mile section today, and then the weather looks good tomorrow, and I will be going up and over Killington tomorrow and down to, I think it's Vermont 4, but I will give you more information once I am on today's hike. But I wanted to remind everybody, I did break my hike down this summer into 3 separate sections. And the first section we completed yesterday, which was some mileage in Connecticut and Massachusetts. Every time I say that word, I mess it up. And we did West Cornwall Road to Tyringham Road, where I ended yesterday. And that was 52 miles. So you can put a check mark on that first section. And today we are starting the second section, which goes from Vermont 103 to Lyme Dorchester Road, and that is right before, or actually, that is in New Hampshire. So we're going to be in Vermont, and by the time we end this second section, we will be in New Hampshire. And then the section I am looking forward to the most, just because it's a straight line from New Hampshire 25C all the way to Mount Katahdin. That will start as soon as we're done with this particular section, and that section is 403 miles. So we are moving and grooving. A third done already this summer, but we are early on, very early on, and today is just going to be kind of run some errands, do a 5.5 mile stretch, and then tomorrow up and over Killington. If the weather permits, we shall see what's going on. But I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I'll be back once I hit the trail. All right, y'all, still in the van at the campground. I am now enjoying my third cup of coffee, and we're just doing some chores this morning. And I've got something that I want to read to you guys that I have had since the very beginning of this podcast, December 2019. And this was written during the time that I was trying to figure out how to brand the show, what the name of the podcast was going to be. And this was written for me. And the title of this branding piece of art is what I'm going to call it, is called The Relentless Pursuit of the Section Hiker. And I think it sums up everything that we are trying to do as section hikers. And I just think it's perfect. And I guess it's taken me over 5 years to finally read this on the podcast. And it seems like a perfect morning to do so. So here we go. The Relentless Pursuit of the Section Hiker. When it comes to hiking, everyone has a story. Thru hikers have months and months of adventure, joy, weakness, hunger, and find themselves with one job only during that time: eat, hike, sleep, repeat. And for those who finish a long-distance trail, it is an amazing accomplishment for sure. But section hikers, those who complete the same long-distance trails one section at a time, have a different story. These are folks who usually year after year only have a certain amount of time to get the miles done on trail. They live their lives, their everyday lives, all year with optimistic hopes of being able to work in the travel, trail logistics, and time to get out and hike. Maybe 100 miles, maybe 10 days, sometimes less, sometimes more. The quest of the section hiker is truly to get the job done. They are diligent. They walk the same steps, endure the same elements, and follow the same path as other hikers. They also find their solace on a trail and many times a spiritual awakening. But the joy for a section hiker is they get to do that over and over again. Each time they go out, it may take right up until they are done to get their trail legs. Instead of one continual journey, section hikers start over every single time. Each trip is a new beginning. And the golden opportunity of this kind of hiking is that they can do it when they want. Section hikers are not necessarily dependent on weather or season. They can hike just about year-round depending on the trail. They are not allowed to have the one-and-done mentality. Instead, it truly is a relentless pursuit year after year. And each time when they finish that one section, they find themselves back at the office or at the soccer games or wherever everyday lives take them, usually dreaming about what was and what the next adventure will bring. We hear a lot about thru hikers, but maybe this will inspire someone who never really thought you can hike a long-distance trail, but don't have to do it just at one time. This is not a comparison of section hikers versus thru hikers, but the truth is there are probably more section hikers around than thru hikers, and it seems they never have a platform to share their stories. And the bottom line is, every hiker should have a story about hiking, the beauty, the difficulty, the people you meet, and the inner you that may be discovered along the way, even section by section. So there you have it, y'all, the relentless pursuit of the section hiker. I'll check back in when I get on trail. All right, y'all. My feet are officially on the trail here in Vermont, and it already smells different. The pines, the terrain is different. It certainly is the Green Mountain State. Absolutely love Vermont. It just smells good up here. Anyway, y'all, today I am going 5.5 miles, and I got a little twist. So my section for Vermont/New Hampshire that I needed to start is at Vermont 103. And after yesterday and spending some time chillaxing this morning, it was absolutely wonderful. I looked on Far Out and figured out that I could be dropped off at Upper Cold River Road and I could hike south down to Vermont 103 and make it a 5.5 mile day. So again, still getting in miles, but making it a day where I can sleep in and then I can get my 5.5 miles done and then get a good night's rest tonight. So I started at mile marker, remember we're in Vermont, 1,697.1, and I am hiking south to 1,691.6, which will make it a 5.5 mile day. And by the time I am done today, it will be 480.1 miles to Katahdin. So I have enjoyed my morning. I have enjoyed getting back on trail, and I just forded my first creek crossing. It wasn't that big of a deal. Over Gould, Gould Creek, and I bet later on this summer it will be easy to rock hop. It was just about at my ankles, and my shoes are still wet from yesterday. they only dried out a teeny tiny bit. So I knew my feet were going to get wet today regardless. But yeah, we are in Vermont. I am hiking south to Vermont 103, which is the Clarendon Gorge. So I may continue going south and walk over that bridge and look at the gorge and then head on out for the day. So y'all, it is a great morning, well, afternoon. It's actually after 12 o'clock. And I think that this will only take me a few hours. But now I have a down tree in front of me, and y'all know what that's like. So I am going to get off the mic for now, and I'll probably come back toward the end of the day. So I'll see y'all soon. All right, y'all, I am back. Had to hop on here. And if I don't hop on here and tell you about who I meet, I'll forget. So I just met a gentleman. I had my phone out, and we were walking through wildflowers, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And I said, oh, I gotta record this. So I'm walking through, and then a little ways, I look up, and I thought it was a stump. And then it moved, and I said, oh my God. And it was a guy. He had a pack cover on his pack, and it was camouflage. So he bent up, and I said, well, I think you're doing the same thing I'm doing, taking beautiful video and pictures of these wildflowers. And I said, I hope I didn't scare you. And he said, you did. I said, you scared me because I thought you were a stump. So anyway, come to find out, we were just chatting, and he was telling me how he was trying to get up the road a little bit because he needed to go into town and get a certification. He's trying to become a machinist, and he's only got a certain amount of time, so he's got to go in and watch videos and all the things. He's got to get a certain certification because when he gets off trail, he is going to become a machinist, and I think that's awesome. So I said, hey, listen, do you mind if I get your picture? If we take a picture together? And he's like, oh, no, that's cool. And I said, what's your trail name? And he said, 54 Cold. And I said, how in the world did you get your trail name? And he said that he did 54 miles in the freezing cold in the snow somewhere back near, I guess, Hot Springs. And he said that Alpha Gal and Metro named him. And of course, I know Alpha Gal and Metro. So Alpha Gal, if you're listening to this, I have met 54 Cold. And he says to tell you all hello. So that was pretty cool interaction there. And we just stood there and chatted for a while and both went on our merry way. And he did tell me that there was a large bubble of through hikers coming this way that were going to be staying in Rutland tonight. So that's cool. So I'll get to meet more people as we go. So anyway, just wanted to hop on and tell you all that story. Pretty cool, pretty funny. You know what? It is always 7 degrees of separation. I'll be back. All right, I am back to close out this episode. I've probably got just a little over a mile to go. I'm going to go ahead and close it out because I know I have a nice little rock scramble at the end of the day down to Vermont 103. And I want to have all hands on deck, so to speak, to pay attention to that. So I'm going to title this day, it's probably going to be a long one, Bright Green Ferns, Pine Needles, great smelling. It just smells like Christmas all day long. And folks, that is Vermont. And I'm even going to add a subtitle, Beautiful Wildflowers, because today we walked through 2 different farm fields and the wildflowers are amazing. Yeah, I did some video of each farm field and I will put that out on my YouTube channel the same day that this episode goes out. Absolutely gorgeous. And I, of course, in climbing once again. So got a little blip to go up, and then it is straight down to Vermont 103. And that will wrap it out to for the day. Upper Cold River Road southbound to Vermont 103 makes it a 5.5 mile day. And we've got 480.1 miles to Katahdin. And if the weather holds for tomorrow and it is sunny, tomorrow I will go back to Upper Cold River Road and continue northbound up and over Killington tomorrow. If it's going to be sunny, it'll be a 12.2 mile day. If it's going to rain tomorrow, the majority of the day, I am actually going to take my first day off. But as long as the sun is out, I am going to keep hiking. And the next day, it is supposed to rain all day. I will take the day off then. So in the meanwhile, everybody, we're in Vermont. Yes, there has been mud. So there you go. And I forgot, we are in moose territory. So wouldn't that be something to see a moose? Anyway, y'all, thanks for listening. Be safe out there. And I need to be safe myself. I just slid in some Vermud, and happy section hiking.